Welcome to this session on technology adoption in Middle East construction. My name is Danny Richards, and I'm the lead economist at GlobalData Construction. In this session, I will go through the key results and highlights from a recent survey that GlobalData and MEED conducted across the region in October and November 2020. We sought to gauge investment intentions relating to new technology in construction, to identify the barriers that companies have experienced when attempting to engage with new technology, and to understand the benefits that companies are expecting to experience following investment. The survey focused on investment relating to a range of key technologies. These included augmented reality, mobile applications, drones, 3D printing, building information modeling or BIM, cloud computing, the Internet of Things or IoT enabled equipment, and autonomous vehicles. So let's get straight into the key findings of the survey. Among the key objectives of the survey was to find out about the levels of investment that had already been carried out for the key technologies, and also about the intentions of construction companies when it comes to future investment. We asked respondents to state their position on investment, and they had four options: whether they had not yet invested and did not intend to invest in the next 2 years, whether they had not yet invested but planned to invest in the next 2 years, whether they had invested and also planned to invest in the next 2 years, and whether they had invested but did not plan any further investment. I'll come on to the more detailed analysis of these results by the type of technology shortly. But on this slide, I've isolated the results to rank the technology by the level of respondents who said they had invested already, and by levels of respondents who intended to invest. As you can see, of all the technologies analysed in the survey, cloud technology received the highest proportion of respondents confirming that they had already invested in the technology and had further investment planned within 2 years. The COVID-19 pandemic is likely to have brought about a greater focus on the need for investment in cloud technology to enable greater efficiency across teams when it comes to remote working. In total, 62% of respondents stated that they had invested in cloud technology, and 66% said they would be investing in the next 2 years. Mobile applications, building information modeling or BIM, and IoT-enabled equipment are also technologies that have had relatively high levels of investment to date. And for these, over 50% of respondents stated that they intend to invest further in the next 2 years. 3D printing, autonomous vehicles and drones have yet to draw significant investment in the industry across the region, and they hold relatively low appeal in terms of investment in the next 2 years. On this slide, we have a breakdown of responses by key technology types. We have ordered the responses so as to get a general sense of the investment cycle. A bell-shaped curve, much like the one for cloud technology, reveals that there is a lot of investment activity. What you see is a relatively low level of respondents who have not invested and do not intend to invest. A higher share for those who have not invested but intend to invest, and then an even higher share for those who have invested and intend to invest further. This is then followed by a lower level of respondents who have invested, and do not plan to invest further. So, as we can see for cloud, there are relatively high levels of respondents stating that firms intend to invest in the coming 2 years. Cloud technology has clearly been an important innovation for the construction industry in recent years, due to the way in which it has been able to increase efficiency and productivity throughout the sector. The nature of the companies in the construction industry is such that they often operate from main and regional offices simultaneously with multiple construction sites, meaning the ability to access information in multiple locations can really transform their operations. Improving the ability of workers operating on construction sites to be able to constantly upload construction-related data allows those in a main office to work more efficiently and plan appropriate logistics based on that information. This increases the speed of the development cycle as companies no longer have to wait for employees to return to the main offices with information. It's a similar kind of investment cycle shape for BIM, mobile applications, and IoT-enabled equipment. Aside from the mandatory nature of BIM on public projects in some countries, the widespread adoption of BIM technology within construction in recent years is also owing to its efficiency gains. For example, by designing a project through 3D models as opposed to traditional methods, it allows the engineer or architect to run computer simulations of the proposed design, allowing for the identifications of error in design that may not have been previously realized until construction had begun. BIM technology also allows for construction defects to be minimized, reducing costs while improving the efficiency of the construction process. The relatively widespread adoption of BIM is reflected in the latest survey results. A total of 39% of respondents stated that they had already invested and planned to invest more, while a further 16% stated that they had invested but had not invested but planned to do so in the next 2 years. For mobile applications, one of the most common uses has been for project documentation, with applications that allow construction professionals to record information digitally. This also improves efficiency by allowing the data to be accessible by anyone using the application, regardless of location. And this has been a critical issue in 2020 amid the COVID-19 travel restrictions. The Internet of Things may be to some a relatively new concept, especially within construction, but its influence has grown, with 57% of respondents in the latest survey stating that they had already invested. The technology is expected to continue to be utilized more widely over the next 2 years, and this is largely due to the increasing number of devices and systems with the capability to operate on the Internet of Things. What is also interesting is to look at the grey bars, denoting the responses that state there has not been any investment to date, and that they do not intend to invest in the coming 2 years. This response rises as we go through the remaining key technologies, with 3D printing, drones, and autonomous vehicles having high responses along these lines. This is interesting because there have been suggestions these technologies hold great potential for construction. But perhaps we are just still at an early stage in this cycle. Take drones, for example. There are a number of potential uses for drones within construction, such as the ability to survey projects through the use of drones. Drones are much cheaper to utilize than manned aircraft and possess the capability to record data far quicker than human surveyors. When combined with appropriately designed data recording software, they possess the ability to record information at a level of accuracy that was previously impossible. Drones can also be used to record images of construction progress from the air, meaning that contractors and architects can also demonstrate progress to clients in real time and on demand. While drones may not currently exhibit the high level of investment as seen in some of the other innovations analysed, their long-term potential remains strong. Similarly, with 3D printing, I'm sure many of you are aware of the success that the robotic construction company Apiscore had in using 3D printing technology to build the world's largest 3D printing building, a two-story office in Dubai, as well as the ambition set out by Dubai to have 25% of new construction using 3D printing technology by 2030. However, one of the major explanations for the fairly low level of utilization by construction companies at present is that the equipment costs for 3D printing, despite falling significantly in recent years, remain at restrictively high levels for the majority of companies. In order for companies to take full advantage of 3D printing, there is a very high initial outlay when purchasing the necessary equipment. And the results make clear that at current prices, many companies do not consider this technology to be cost effective. This point leads us nicely onto a look at some of the key barriers to investment in technology as revealed by the survey across the region. Among the challenges for companies in the construction industry when it comes to investing in new technology is that they find there are limited financial gains in the short term, and this makes it difficult to justify making financial commitments when operating margins are tight. This challenge has become even more acute amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted in a severe downturn in construction activity globally and across the region. New technologies usually take time to fall in price after their initial release, and many companies will choose to wait until prices have fallen, despite the potential for improving their business should they choose to invest ahead of their competitors. Firms may also need to decide whether the potential benefits from implementing new technology into existing processes will be worth the increased expense and risk, even if the long-term benefits may potentially outweigh an increase in short-term expenditure. Regulatory uncertainty has also been noted as being a key barrier to investment in technology in the region. At the other end, it would appear that there are relatively few issues when it comes to having the skilled labour or any lack of awareness or resistance among workers to the implementation of new technology. And this certainly bodes well for future investment in new technology in the region. We also sought to identify some of the main drivers for investment in technology. The most common driver of investment in the technologies considered in the survey was that of enabling firms to achieve greater competitiveness within their market. Investment in new technology is also driven by a need to improve a company's ability to win contracts. And this is understandable in the context of BIM, for example, with BIM compliance potentially being required in numerous countries in order to secure contracts on public projects. Other key drivers for investing in new technologies are that it enables improved communication and speeds up construction times, something we noted with mobile applications and IoT-enabled equipment. Finally, in terms of their current investment position, a relatively high percentage of respondents thought that they were ahead of their competitors when it came to cloud technology and BIM. As you can see there at the bottom, the large percentage of those highlighted in green saying that they were ahead of their competitors. There was a relatively large share of respondents who thought they were behind their competitors in the areas of drones and IoT enabled equipment. So that brings me to an end of the review of technology adoption in Middle East construction. I just want to take you through the final summary of findings. So investment is already at a relatively high level for cloud, BIM, and mobile applications. And there will be further investment in these areas in the coming 2 years. There's been a relatively limited investment to date in drones and 3D printing, but long-term opportunities have been identified in these areas. Concerns over limited financial gains in the short term and other financial considerations are the main obstacles to higher investment in technology, as reported by the survey in the region. But there is a general acknowledgement that investment in technology will help companies gain a competitive advantage and improve ability to win contracts. Thank you for listening to this section of the presentation. Up next is the spotlight videos from GHD, Qatab and Alami, Emirates Steel, and Arab Consulting Engineers. Click on the spotlight and sessions icon on the left to join.